So there's a new story out about Zion Williamson. And to make it official, Isaac Lowenkron, you've been reading this story for all your updates. Can you just, can you give me that the story about Zion currently?
Yeah, sure. This started yesterday in Los Angeles Superior Court. An unidentified woman filed a lawsuit accusing him of sexual assault as well as physical, emotional, and financial abuse during a multi-year relationship. So that happened yesterday in L.A. Superior Court. Now, a short time ago, Williamson's attorney issued a statement replying, and it read in part, and I'll go into some other details other than what I mentioned in our report just now. The rest of the statement included, quote, Mr. Williamson and the plaintiff never dated but did maintain a consensual, casual relationship that began more than 6 years ago when he was 18 years old. That relationship ended years ago. At no point did the plaintiff raise any concerns. Only after the friendship ended did she begin demanding millions of dollars, unquote. The statement also alleged, quote, this is the plaintiff's third set of attorneys, unquote.
Yeah, so do you want me to break it down for you? I mean, do we all kind of figure out what's going on here? Right? I mean, just take a guess. Again, I know no details, but even from all of this, she was a chick he hooked up with more than once. Probably wherever she lived. Does she live in Los Angeles? Is that why it was filed in Los Angeles?
It did not say. It was just filed in L.A. Superior Court.
Yeah. Okay. So, but it likely means she lives in Los Angeles. So when he would come to L.A., that was his L.A. girl, right? And the emotional and financial abuse element of it feels like, hey, you promised me you'd give me some money and you'd take care of me. And either you didn't to the level that I think I should be taken care of, or you didn't at all because that wasn't what it was all about to you. Right? That's a pretty reasonable. I don't know about the sexual abuse. All I know is that usually if you're abused sexually, you go to the police, and the police do rape kit, or there'd be a criminal charge. In this particular case, it feels really hard to believe because, again, if it was consensual and if it was not ongoing all the time, but when he came to L.A., then that tracks. And, yeah, it doesn't feel like it's the strongest case in the world. I don't want any woman to ever feel like they could be violated. And if you are violated, go to the authorities and charge people to the fullest extent of the law. But, yeah, this is, on the other hand, there's an expression. And the expression goes like something like this: "Sleep with the dogs. Don't be surprised when you get fleas." There's been rumors this is like a Instagram model, and she has some prodigious features to her, and it's like one of those things. Like, if you just date normal people, you'll get normal results. If you date people that aren't normal, abnormal things happen. This is an abnormal thing. Again, if he did something bad, then he should pay for it. If she's making it up, she should pay for it. And it's equally, it's awful. The whole story bad. The biggest issue I see is, like, it's not an isolated one with him. It's not. He was hurt again this year. He was heavy again this year. And they have a new general manager in New Orleans. And the report out today was no one is immune to being traded. No one is immune to being traded. And if that's the case, that includes Zion, who is supposed to resurrect the Pelicans, and it just hasn't happened. Again, I'm willing to believe these are categorically false, reckless allegations. It seems like most of us read into it and know, yeah, I don't know. Again, you can't choke a woman. You can't, rough up a woman. You can't violate a woman. If he did any of these things, he should go to jail, not just pay a fine or not just pay damages. But that's not what this is about. This is about like a kind of continuation of who he's associated with, how he's carrying himself, how he's still not gotten himself into consistent shape, and why he keeps getting hurt, and the fact that the franchise that was supposed to be built around him is like, if you want him, just make a good offer or you can have him. Feel like that to anybody else? Bursch, Ilo?
Yeah, I think he's keeping bad company because, like you said, he either possibly did this stuff, which is criminal, or is in civil court, so he might have to pay out for this. But he's putting people around him who look at him as a possible something to exploit. So that could be the other side of the coin.
Well,
So,
that's the other thing. It is really sad, right? It's just sad that, and this is kind of what we do. This is kind of what we do, where we have what we do is we put people in positions they're not equipped for. Like, he was a YouTube sensation. He went to college. Nowadays, he would have made gigantic money in NIL. But putting people out in the professional world when they're an obvious target, and saying, hey, you're a professional, live on your own, figure things out. Unless you have the best guidance, unless you have mom and dad looking over your shoulder, sometimes living with you, like, this is what happens. Guys just aren't ready for that. They're just not ready for it. And yeah, that's when it's sad. Does it make you mad? Because you're like, man, I would kill for that much, just a quarter of that much talent. Of course. But it's also sad that people see dollar signs and people want to exploit athletes like a Zion Williamson. And I don't know if he's being exploited or not. I'm not going to sit here and say I know exactly what's going on there. I have zero idea.
And by the way, for context, the first two picks of that year's draft, number 1, Zion Williamson, number 2, John Morant, ironically. But yeah. I remember back to the 2018-2019 season, Zion Williamson, when he was winding up, ending his college career and beginning his college career at Duke, he was arguably the biggest non-NFL story in sports during that season. Remember when his shoe exploded on the court during that game? That was like the biggest story in the nation in sports for the next 3 days. I know it was back before the pandemic in 2019, but it's hard to overstate how big of a story he was in sports during his year at Duke back then.
Yeah, it's really, really he was bigger than big. He was the YouTube sensation. Anybody who says he's a YouTube sensation, nothing in comparison to what Zion Williamson was. Zero. But, is there still time for a turnaround? Yeah. I mean, look, still statistically dominant this year when he played. But just too many of these types of stories.
Maybe a change in scenery would suit him well.
Yeah, but will it? Then there's just a whole new group of people that are going to try and feast on his fame.
It's New Orleans,
he obviously doesn't know how to fend. I know New Orleans is a real
temptation town, Sin City of
no
the
question.
of the southeast.
Of the South, yeah.